30.
What?
I don't know. Getting all riled up and ready for this.
Riled up and ready. All right.
Riled up.
The mic is on, thank God. I'm going to go, we're going live here. How are you guys? My name is Ted, otherwise known as Escape Time. I am... Hey, thank you for the host, Ratsphere. Thank you, sir. Alright, so listen, this is Under the Suds. We are doing our post-apocalyptic... Yeah, Jordan. Jordan, how are you? We're doing a post-apocalyptic election show. I thought it would be a good idea to, obviously drink after yesterday. Well, one way or another, it's just a good reason to drink. So, but yeah, let me turn down the music just a little bit so you guys can tell me, you can hear what I'm saying. All right. So I'll go over it real quick. Hell yeah, Matt Moore. How are you guys? So, welcome to Under the Suds. Here is the rules for the show. We have about 4 rules. 4. Well, I'll tell you the style. What we do. First we do beer reviews, and these are the rules for the beer reviews. No repeat beers or reviews. No mega breweries, which anything has Miller or whatever in it. Can't be reviewing those things. Show respect to the viewers. The viewers have their opinions about the beer. That's why we're here to talk about it. And also, for the love of God, have fun and have a pint. So yeah, that's pretty much the rules of the show. At least the first half of the show. Then we go into discussing some topics. I will say this. I'm going to say, do we really want to talk about the political stuff yesterday? Probably not. So if you have comments about it, I respect your opinion, but don't come in here trying to offend anybody with some of your stuff. You supported whoever you supported if you're from the U.S., and that's cool. You know what? That's all right. All right, so with me today, let me jump down here real fast. I have like 17 panels in here that I have to transition to. So with me today, we have Scott B and Steve Z. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Good. Ready to drink.
Ready to drink? Well, there you go. All right. So I'm gonna say one thing about it, about this. I know I said I wasn't going to say it. It was very unexpected. And I'm just shutting off the music. It was very, very unelegant of music fading. But Steve!
Hey, Jordan.
Let's keep the politics out of it. No politics, just beer. Thank you, Monica. That's it. It was very unexpected, but very much... Yeah, are you starting now or just late in the game? We just got on a few seconds ago.
Yeah, we haven't started yet.
Yeah, so, real fast. I'm going to do a SO command. Actually, Monica, can you do a SO command for Ratsphere? He is also a beer streamer on Twitch. He does home brewing every 2 weeks. So if you haven't checked him out, go definitely check him out. It was very unexpected. Unexpected results from yesterday. But, you know what? Drinking. You're drinking. Well, you should be drinking. But you know what? I don't really think, regardless of who won, it would have been a good result. The Canadians were kind of crazy, but this is kind of post-apocalyptic. So I'm gonna say that and just leave it at that. But let's just jump into the beer reviews then. Who wants to go first? Anybody? Scott, Steve, you want to go first? All right, give me 1 second. Boom. Steve, you're up.
I am on. Well, because of all the red, white, and blue lately, I picked an American beer, but it's a Belgian style beer. So yeah, I picked a beer from a Pennsylvania brewery, as a matter of fact, called Trogs. Some folks have probably seen some of their stuff, maybe had some of their stuff in the past. This is one of their Belgian double styles, which is called Jovial. And I know I've had this live at the brewery before. Absolutely delicious. And I thought it might be a nice twist with a Belgian style and a double. for this evening. So that's what I decided to choose. I had a couple of these in reserve
Nice.
in the beer cellar, and it's a nice, delicious and corked beverage. So I've got to work the cork first before we get to wait for the satisfying pop. There it is. In fact, just a little bit of steam coming off the top.
A bit of
And I even
steam.
have I even have a proper Trogs chalice glass, which I can't believe I found in my glass cellar. So here's the nice, delicious kind of malty, chocolatey brown uh, uh, essence that you'll see about it. It's really a good busy beer, as you can see. Lots of carbonation, as a good double might have, and God, that's just all kinds of chocolatey and malty. Really delicious nose, and yeah, that's just what I remember. Not a huge beer either, even though in the last 2 weeks I've had 10 and 11 percenters. This one's listed as a 7 percenter, so a little bit easier going this evening. Although I probably could have used a few more points of tonight, but hey, I'll take it. It's a nice double, like really good, rich malty, and I don't know if you don't like carbonation a lot. This might be a little bit more carbonated than most people would prefer, but I really enjoy that. So it makes it, I think, a little bit brighter and a little bit more flavorful that way. So cheers to Trogs Jovial. Definitely got a. I would give this, as far as doubles are concerned, especially doubles made here in the States. If we were doing a 5-star rating on Untapped or something like that, this would be up above 4, at least between 4 and 4.5. So definitely a delicious brew from a Pennsylvania brewery located in Hershey, Pennsylvania, where the famous Hershey chocolate is made. So cheers to Trogs for yet another really great beer. Jovial.
Now, does you have a kind of a molasses to it as well? I mean, it is a double, so
It is a double, so yeah, you get that kind of caramely molasses. And I was going to kind of look through. So the malts that they use, 4 different malts: Abbey, Chocolate, Munich, and Pilsner. So there's a bunch of malts there. The hops that they use is Crystal and Magnum. So they've got 2 different hops, and Abbey ale yeast, obviously, and obviously it's got the dark brown color. So apparently the Trogs brothers are known for their brews, and they had put this recipe together for one of the brothers' weddings, and they loved it so much that they decided that they needed to make it for production. So it is definitely a much more rich, kind of a family style beer that they've got with definitely just definitely a hint of chocolate and a little kind of caramely malty flavor to it. So cheers.
all right, very cool.
You go next.
Scott, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure.
All right, hold on. Boom.
Great. It is. Yeah.
All right. So for anybody that has watched our first 2 episodes, I have stuck with Carton Brewing, so I decided to jump a little here. I'm going to the other coast of the United States, a brewery in Northern California along the shoreline, North Coast Brewing, and they brew an awesome beer called Brother Thelonious. So 3 things I want to mention about this beer before I open it up. The first one being, you'll start to notice a theme: beers with awesome art and graphics on the labels really draw me in. This one is absolutely on par with that. Can you see that there? The second thing is, if you notice on the graphic, there's a skull sitting on the monk's lap. That kind of confused me at first, so I had to look it up. And the artist that actually did this mentioned that he wanted a skull there to remind everyone of their mortality. And at the end of the day, enjoy the day, eat, drink, and be happy. So another reason to try this beer. The third being that it is an awesome tasting beer, which we will get to now. The last 2 weeks I had canned beers, and I just realized that I don't have an opener. So see if I can get this open. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, that settles a little bit. Just go over some of the usual suspects here. This beer does come in, completely losing my track of mind, but a 22-ounce cork bottle. I went for the 12-ounce, kind of control my night a little bit. This is a bit heavy of a beer for being a Belgian strong ale. It comes in at 9%. So I'm keeping consistent week in and week out. As Steve mentioned earlier, with these Belgian ales, this one is also well carbonated. Right off the top, it has very, very sweet notes to it. Give it a taste. Just as I remember. This is an awesome beer. You get a lot of fruits on the back end, very smooth. You hardly taste that 9%. One thing I wanted to mention in the beginning, and I just remembered now, the buddy of mine that recommended this to me or brought this to my attention, he had it. He said, "You got to try this beer." And the way he summed up his experience really, really made me try to get out and get this beer as fast as possible. And the way he summed it up was, of course, now I'm drawing a blank. You know what? Come back to me. I will remember that. I'll bring it up later on once I remember it. But at the end of the day, awesome beer. Highly recommend you guys can find this beer. Like I said, I'm here on the East Coast of the U.S., and this is on the West Coast, so their distribution network is definitely getting this to most places on the United States. So, highly recommend.
One thing I want to know, to mention about this beer is that this beer is actually brewed with the partnered with the Thelonious Monks. I'm mispronouncing his name, but T Monk. He's a jazz artist, so It was inspired by him, and it's helped us support jazz as an education, and that's why he's on there. He was an amazing, like, I forget the actual style that he did of jazz, but he had Box. You know, only if we have the device you can look it up. You know, T Monk. I forget the style. It's gonna kill me if I don't remember it. And now I can't spell Thelonious Monk. I think it was improvisational. I'm not speaking well tonight, but it's improv jazz. I mean, he was one of the probably one of the most interesting jazz artists I've ever heard. So when you said you were doing this, at first I was like, Thelonious, that sounds very familiar. So I had to go look it up, and I saw that it was part of because of the jazz, and they partnered with his foundation. So
yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up. I completely forgot to mention that item. In connection to that jazz school, every bottle you buy of this, donations actually get pushed over there, so they can provide jazz education for free to all of the students at school, which is an awesome thing also.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Ratchet Sphere, send that to Monica. Monica, can you post that for me? For some reason, I can't get that thing up here. All right, that's cool. It's interesting because we actually all chose Belgian. There you go. Thank you, Monica. We actually all chose Belgian ales tonight, so that's kind of fun, unexpected. But I'm gonna go jump in here real fast, and I'll get to the beer right there. In honor of the apocalypse of our election, I chose Damnation from Russian River. It is like I said, another Belgian ale, but this isn't a dark Belgian ale. This is actually a golden ale. It's technically classified as a Belgian strong ale. So I'm just gonna pop this top. It comes in a cork. I don't know. I've seen it in bigger bottles than this. This one it's like 12.68 fluid ounces. I had this a long time ago. I haven't had it in a while. I stopped drinking Belgian ales because I was drinking way too any West Coast IPAs on tap. Not tonight, but definitely have some. I have a few West Coast IPAs that in my fridge that I want to review, next week or the week after. So let me just pour this out, guys, for you. I'm using a chalice as well. This is a Leffe chalice, but you can tell that it is a golden ale, and I almost spilled it on myself. So let me just get a full chalice here. This is about 7.5% alcohol. And in Belgian golden ales, you can definitely smell like some banana on it. Not like some Hefeweizens have banana too, but this is different. It's I don't want to say bready, but it's definitely like a banana nose with a little bit of bready, sure, whatever. And again, super carbonated like most Belgian ales, and I let this warm up to room temperature, so that's nice. I don't think you can see this, but I mean, can you see all the stuff just floating in there? That is just the lovely dead yeast or whatever is, I guess, left over from when they were bottling this. And I love the floating stuff that's in the beer. It's tasty. Sneaky hay. All right. Again, this is 7.5% Russian River. You know what? That's the one thing I forgot. Russian River is out of California? No. Yeah. It is out of California. Yeah.
Southern California.
Southern California. A lot of good breweries down there, but Russian River has some most phenomenal beers. This is part of a series that is kind of they have Damnation. Hold on. Actually, there's a whole supplication, consecration, temptation.
Russian River has that one beer that's rated number one, I think, in the U.S.
Pliny.
Is it Pliny? I'm probably Pliny the Elder, and they also have Pliny the Younger, too. Both of those are difficult to get your hands on, but regardless, this is. Give, please. Well, I don't know if I can actually give you one of these, but it actually brings up a good point. Actually, we'll get to that in a second when we start talking about some other things. This is distributed year round. You can get it here in Pennsylvania, so you probably can find it where you guys are. It is a very dry beer, like I said, golden Belgian ale. Very mild. I'm looking at what's going on here. I think Moorebrew has homebrew recipes for him. For Pliny the Elder. Oh.
Wow.
There you go. That would actually be kind of fun to do.
That's an experiment.
I have not ever done gone and actually taken a recipe from like a brewery, or like a clone recipe of something. Majority of our of stuff that Scott and I have done have been like kits, and we've kind of just messed with the recipe just a little bit. Hey, Grim Reaper, how are you today? yeah, that's pretty much it about Damnation. Again, I chose this because of the election stuff. There were several other beers I could have chosen. The Chamonix Creek has a really good one of called the Shape of Hops to Come. Again, would have been appropriate, but this is definitely a tasty golden Belgian strong pale ale. So let me just jump back here. Retrosphere, can you send that to Monica if you can, or Monica, can you permit him to do another link there? So you brought up Give Please, right? So I was trying to think of, it'd be really cool to get somehow with followers to be able to do like a beer exchange. Now, I know the laws of certain states are kind of sometimes will not permit us to ship beer or even wine. I know Pennsylvania is one of those, but I think the beer laws here are kind of changing. But especially with like Pennsylvania has this weird law, and I'm not sure anybody in chat, if you have any weird beer laws where you're located, chime in. We can't buy beers by bottles or by 6-packs here unless it's sold at a restaurant or someplace that has kind of food. UPS will not let you, but you can FedEx or United Postal Service will not, in Vermont at least. Okay. I did get around it once by I was in Alaska and I was sending home some beer from there, and I went to ship it home, and I told them that it was lava lamps, because it kind of makes sense. That's glass, and it's breakable and it has liquid, but it's you can ship beer and wine to Texas through UPS. Okay, now I don't think Jersey you can't ship beer to, right, Scotty? Or
I can't tell you. I've never tried.
Okay. Well, that's something we could definitely look into, because I think would be kind of interesting with the followers that we have here as we kind of get it going. This is only our third show, by the way, so we're just kind of getting ramped up here with a bunch of different things. But I think what would be kind of cool is get some sort of beer trade going. There is a beer trade app that I saw recently. I'm just looking on my phone because there was a news article for it, and I'm not sure whether or not that would be something we could, get everybody on at once. And then I work in a lab, and I got stickers saying live yeast samples, just stuck on that box. And that's. Can you send me some of those stickers? I'd love to put that on my fridge. Take it and make it into a magnet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look for it, but I think maybe that might be an interesting thing to do. If Steve and Scott, Matt, thank you for the follow. Do appreciate it. They live local to where I'm at, but you guys are getting different parts of the world, different parts of the U.S. I don't know if that would be something that everybody would be interested in. So if you are, chime in. Send me a message. We can figure that out. And just I'll have to start working on the details of it. But I thought I'd just bring it up as an early topic. So with that said, do you guys have anything you want to specifically get off your chest, Scott or Steve?
Well, one quick note on what you had started to mention earlier. I think there is legislation that's either starting or is actually pretty close to being passed through, if not already through, for them to start to change that law in PA for 6-pack.
Yes.
So that may be coming soon, if not already there.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic. I don't mind buying stuff in cases, but when you're forced to, especially if you've never had the beer before, it's just a little difficult. You don't want to go buy an entire case of something, But then you can always go try it at a good beer bars like where Steve and I go,
Right. Yeah.
Before you buy.
Some of us are close enough to other states where we can even get singles at times, so So just across the border in Delaware. Pick up a couple singles of something to try it out before you decide to commit to a case in Pennsylvania, which is usually an expensive case.
They have like beer stores. Like if you're in Pennsylvania, there is one Southampton close by us. It's a huge beer shop, and I think maybe eventually we can build 6-packs here in Texas. Nice, very cool, Jordan. That's what this place allows us to do. Actually, we can go in. It's a huge shop, and the only reason they allow that you can actually buy single bottles is because they serve food in the back, and it's only appetizers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get growlers and all filled up, but other than that, they're like a bottle shop, and they worked at like there's a loophole in PA where you can only sell bottles by if you're serving food, which again Isaac's does.
There's this bottle shop in Lancaster, PA, called the Fridge.
Okay.
It is an awesome place to go to if anyone's in the area. You literally walk in, and the store has a very small footprint in terms of size, but they must have 8 or 9 of your convenience store style fridges with each row of bottles is a different type of beer, and they're all very good craft beers, and they serve a pretty good homemade pizza there as well. So highly recommend it if you're ever in the Lancaster area.
Perfect.
Homemade what?
Pizza.
Ooh.
Yeah, I highly recommend going in the winter because they have the wood stove fired up.
Okay.
So pizza, beer, wood stove, that is an excellent trifecta.
Can't go wrong with that, man. That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure they have some beers on tap as well. So.
Okay. Now I've heard rumors in Texas that they have, and Jordan, maybe you can actually chime in on this if you've seen it, but drive-through pickup for beer. So you can take your car, your truck, your whatever, you go. It's like a McDonald's. You pull up, to the window. It probably still sounds like you can't really understand what the hell they're saying. You ask for the beer you want, and then they say, and then you pull around, and they give you like a 6-pack of whatever it is. But I've heard rumors that there are that, and I can see that being a little bit chaotic. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
They have that right in your backyard in Jersey here. There are drive-through liquor stores.
Drive-through.
Yep.
Can't.
They're few and far between, but they do exist.
All right, so Jordan, you just confirmed that there are drive-through liquor stores. Now, can you tell me, do they only do liquor, or is it just like beer stores? Because Scott, is the one in Jersey, is that all alcohol as well, or?
I can confirm that the one in Jersey, and I'm sure there's more than one. There's only one I know about because I've driven past it a few times, but you can get anything in the store at the drive-through. So beer, liquor, wine, everything.
So Arizona also has a few, it looks like Matt's saying.
Some of us states are quite progressive.
Yeah. Can you tell? I never felt the need to go through one. Well, if you're really rushing for beer, I guess it's the way to pick it up if you don't want to get out of your car.
I would do that, yeah.
Well, what if they gave you like a to-go cup? There's one in New Mexico. New Mexico wine. Okay, liquor, wine, beer. All right, that's interesting. Yeah. Huh. I would see that as a detriment, right? You drive up there and then you kind of like, just kind of want to, but it's walk up, not drive through. There you go. That's interesting.
That is interesting because can you walk up with a shopping cart? I mean, what if you need more than you can handle? I don't know.
A separate set of problems there.
Yeah, seriously.
Maybe we're digging too far into this, but
we've got a drive-through beer distributor in Bristol, PA.
There is one?
Yeah. I think is it Bound Beverages, I think. Yeah, you can just drive around the back, and through the beer distributor, roll down your window, say, do you have this, this, and this? And they're like, yep, we got that, we got that. Oh, you pop the trunk, they put it right in the trunk for you. You pull up to the window and you swipe your card and pay, and off you go. Never leave the car.
Shit,
And
I
that's
didn't
any
know.
beer they distribute.
If as long as they have it in there, yeah.
Not
If they have
bad.
it, they'll load it in the car for you and everything. Never
Now,
have
Is
to.
that Bristol?
I think it's Bristol. Yeah, it's on Route 13 in Bristol. I think it's Bound Beverages that does that.
now, are they like one of the main brown
Bound.
beverages?
Bound.
Bound. Okay.
UND. Yeah.
Because we do a lot of like beer, like what's the? Obviously, it's been a long day. Oh, God.
Beer Fest.
Beer Fest. Thank you again. I appreciate that. Beer Fest. I haven't seen them actually there, so I don't know if that's something. I've never heard of their actual their
Yeah,
distributor.
Yeah, I don't know. I would call them, they're not a very large distributor, but they're definitely a beer outlet. So it's easy to hit them if you're getting off of I-95 in southeastern PA. It's really easy to get to them, and you can literally be in and out of there in a few minutes.
Huh.
But I mean, it's not a packaged goods store. So in Pennsylvania, it's all cases there.
Okay. Oh yeah. It's okay. Well, that makes sense, I guess. But like,
Yeah,
Scott, go
you're
ahead.
loading up for 4th of July or the holidays or something like that. You need a case or two of something. It's usually a no brainer, and they've got a lot of good brands there too. So it's not just the cheap stuff, but really really good beer.
Hmm.
They have a list of everything they have on hand, or you just kind of have
I
to.
think they do. Yeah, I'll have to look them up.
So if anybody's not from PA, one of the other things is weird laws is that you cannot sell beer and wine and liquor in the same stores. You can sell beer and liquor, no, beer in its own store, and then wine and liquor is actually controlled by the state still. So we, like Steve was saying, they have distributors where you actually can go, or like these beer shops where you can only pick up cases, with the exception of those places that sell food, like this place, Southampton Beer Store, right around the corner from where we are, and they get around that by that weird law of if you serve food, you can distribute single bottles or sell 6-packs. So, yeah, I mean, so to that case, we wouldn't be able to have all-in-one beer pickup stores that are in PA. But like places like New Mexico and Texas and Arizona, which are apparently more progressive than our laws, we can drive up and grab that stuff, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Think of the children. You can drive through, buy beer, children will die. Well, yeah, probably.
It doesn't mean you're opening the beer and drinking it there.
Yeah.
It's all about convenience. Come on. We're here in the U.S. It's all about convenience.
Okay, quick Yelp search shows a drive-through daiquiri spot in Dallas.
Awesome.
Again, Texas. Everything's bigger and better, I guess, in Texas. So I'm guessing that's probably like a to-go cup, a daiquiri. You just whip it up and throw it in there, and you stick a straw in it, and kind of go with it.
I believe in Texas, it is legal to consume alcohol in an automobile as long as you are not the driver. So that would make sense.
Is that not true in Pennsylvania as well?
If you don't get caught.
If you don't get caught. Isn't the working's man law where you can have one drink?
I thought the running kind of rule of thumb there was as long as you don't have more than one drink an hour, you are fine.
One drink an hour?
Wow.
Well, when I go to a pub, sometimes it goes... Like, I even brought up backup beers just in case when I was done with this one. I tend to drink really quick, which is the reason why last week I looked like someone literally matched the color of this ball. It was in my head was like a giant tomato. So, but yeah, that's one.
So a little while ago, you mentioned topics wanting to get something off your chest. So I've one thing that's frustrated me over the years is, the more people you talk to that drink beer, um, they talk about in the 80s, 90s, um, at workplaces, fire departments, there were actually beer dispensing machines. Now, I can personally say I've never seen a beer dispensing machine. And the fact that this existed before the time that I could drink uh, kind of upsets me. And I'd really like that to come back.
It could only be the cans though. That would be
That,
the only
that
way.
does not bother me.
Yeah.
I feel like with today's vending technology, we can have a dispensing belt that would be able to handle bottles.
Yeah, most likely. I would hope so. It's but you brought up a point. Beer in a workplace though. Like, I actually left a company recently that they had a beer in the fridge. Now, for me, one of my first jobs, they never had any beer in the fridge. It was a government type thing, and it was just like, but they had no problem with you actually having a beer during lunch.
Right.
And me, I'm like, again, it's that quick access and fast drinking issue, which is, I never took advantage of it because it would just be detrimental to my career. First off,
Right.
So
And I don't bring this up as an item to say that you would take full advantage to the point of um, making bad decisions. We're all adults. I would think that in a work setting, if that's the particular place we're talking about, we would control ourselves. But the first person I ever heard this from, it was a scenario where they actually worked for the federal government, and this beer dispensing vending machine was in the cafeteria in a federal government building.
see that I find a bit tough to believe. I don't know.
No, I have confirmed this with numerous sources that have also worked in that building.
Okay.
I definitely agree with you. It's more common that you'll find alcohol beer in fridges in a lot of your startup and more of your private companies. Um, Not to say that they drink any more than government workers. I don't think they do at all. But I think they're a little more lax in terms of what you can have on premises. But my question is always, what changed to say that's not right?
To drink on the premise of like
Yeah,
a workplace.
or having it there and available.
Well, you know what? It goes back to the type of person that ruins. Like for instance, I'll use an example. At college, they had and Matt, I see your question. I'll get to that in 1 second. They had like something in the dorm, like a dormitory, like the rule thing that you cannot have livestock in your dormitories. So, the first guy that goes out and just gets hammered on beer at the workplace, that's when they're like, oh, this was not a good idea, probably, and they took that beer dispenser away as quick as possible.
Yeah. That's probably true.
Or the same guy that brought the damn goat into his dorm room. I mean, A, where did he get the goat? And B, why did he want it in his dorm room? And I don't want to know. Let's just leave it at that. That's just...
True. I apologize for bringing this up because it has gone down a very ugly path.
No, that's not an ugly path. It's kind of funny, But all right. So wait, Matt asked the question: do you guys prefer canned beer or bottled beer, generally speaking?
So we actually brought this up a week or two ago.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what our final conclusion was, and I may be giving us a lot of credit that we actually came to a conclusion. But I'll say, me personally, I don't really notice much of a difference between a bottle or a can. I do lean towards cans, and as I think about it now, I think that's more from the standpoint of being able to transport them without the fear of them breaking. Also, it's always fun to smash a can at the end of the day. So there's that. But when you're talking about what's the best tasting beer, always off draft, I think.
Draft. Yeah. Amen. And technically, draft is just kind of like a big canned beer.
Yeah.
Valid
point. So I will retract my prior statement. I like canned beer.
I lean toward the cans, yeah.
So is that what you drink? We lean towards mostly, Steve, then?
No. Well, draft, yes, absolutely. I dig a fresh draft beer, no doubt about it. But I don't think I have a preference. As far as what I go into my fridge for, if there's a can or a bottle, I don't think I don't think I have a preference. It just depends on the beer. If it's in my fridge, it's probably something I like. So I don't think the can or the bottle is going to make too much of a difference. At least not now. Cans. I don't think cans used to be the quality that they are now. So, but yeah, the latest cans are pretty tough, and they don't seem to change the character of the beer at all.
Yeah, that was. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, it just tastes good. So why not? Why not a canned beer?
Yeah, I mean that was my main concern when they started canning beers. I know Oscar Blues was, they were on the forefront of that, right? So, I and Red Angel, thank you for the host. Do appreciate it. I avoided cans when it first came out because it was, again, you had that. I was always used to that steely taste. You would get from canned beers. In college you would have like canned beers and they were just bad. I prefer draft. I think most beer drinkers prefer draft because again, it's you get it. Bottle conditioning can sometimes get things overcarbonated. I mean, brewers have it down to a science, obviously. Draft, you're injecting the carbonation in there. The kegs don't have carbonation already in it, so they're injecting the carbonation to it when they're actually pouring it into your cup. So they have it set at the level so you're getting the proper amount. I personally love cask ales because I'm not a big carbonation fan, even though the Belgian ales we had tonight. And if you guys missed the reviews on the beers and you came in late, you can always watch this episode. I'll be making this a highlight like every week. But cask ales are my favorite hand pumps because it's room temperature. It has low level carbonation. A lot of times there, and it doesn't really matter what the beer is. We'll go to one brewery that's close to us, Triumph Brewing, and they have a cask tap, which I always get whatever's on there. It could be an IPA, it could be whatever. But I think if I had a preference between bottles and cans, nowadays I would go to cans because the ease of transport. I don't want to. If my wife and I are going to go hiking up in the hills, I don't want to bring a bottle of beer with me and slam my bag down, and next thing you know it shatters all over the place, and okay honey, we got to turn around, and that'd be end of the day, and she'd be mad. So I mean, and we've done that. We've brought beers up to places where we hiked before, and cans are just so more convenient. But to your point, Steve, they've come a long way. The inner lining is doesn't give you that steely taste that you used to get. So yeah, I would say canned beers are the ones that I would probably choose over bottled beers, merely because of ease of transport when you're going places. Plus, you could fit a lot more of these, just size-wise, in something than you could do this. So that's a convenient part. But as far as flavor, I don't think there's any real difference to it. Dr. Saucy Lumps. That is, again, still a funny name.
I guess one other point to note that I was just thinking about it as you guys were talking about it. You got to be careful with bottles. Most beers nowadays are in darker bottles, but you got to be aware that light, sunlight will affect beer in the bottle.
True.
You don't get a lot of that with cans. But on the opposite side with cans, as you were mentioning, you don't get that steely taste because cans have the inner lining. But that's an inner lining of plastic, right? To form that barrier between the beer and the can or the aluminum. And last I was reading, and I haven't really looked this up in the past few years, but probably 5 years ago when I was looking at this, that plastic lining still was not BPA free. So you still have some chemical worry there. I would hope in the past 5 years that they've resolved that because there has been a big shift away from, having BPA in the plastics of
Right.
food materials. So it's something to look at, if you're a big can person.
No, I agree. The can that lining is definitely a concern, but I think you're right. The way they've gone with the technology, I think it's definitely you would hope, right, that they would have. I mean, I could always cut this open. Yeah, well, I would have to drink it first.
Drink it.
So, not right now. I mean, like, just right in there. I think there's a rule about that. A beer in a clear glass in sunlight will develop skunk flavor within as little as 5 minutes.
There you go.
I just figured that. Wow, I didn't know that. That's actually a pretty good. That's pretty interesting. Okay.
So in particular, be cautious with Coronas. Because all of us drink a lot of Corona here.
Well, I think we're gonna be a Bud Nation now. So.
Oh God. Yeah, this is disturbing.
They're buying up everybody.
And that's actually I was gonna wait and kind of talk about that, but
Can't review it. That's against the rules.
What? No, not that. No, I was gonna talk about. So I'm gonna bring this up now. We can talk about it, but I think it's a bigger thing we can talk about going in the future. Historically, the U.S. had a ton of breweries, and what happened was it's just lots of local breweries, and what historically bigger breweries like Coors and Miller and Bud, they bought them up, and they kind of consumed them, so that they were the only beers in the U.S. until over 20 years ago, small microbreweries, which turned into now larger breweries, popped up all over the place. But to kind of offset the lack of flavor that you get in some of the major beers. But here's the thing. I'm kind of concerned that right now there are so. That's the reason why I brought it up, Rochester. They just brought Northern Brewer, which is one of the largest home supply stores.
Was it Northern and Midwest?
Was it Midwest as well? I only saw Northern, but I mean, I'll have to look it up. Now there's so many breweries out there. Small breweries are popping up all over the place. Do you guys think we're going to start seeing that transition? Roger said yes. So they are. Will beer save the world? Spoiler. It already has. Hey, what's up, Thigh Toaster? How are you? So Roger said that they did buy Midwest Brewer as well, Scotty. So, yeah. But my concern is, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, I feel like we're gonna see history repeat itself, and all these small breweries are going to start being bought up by bigger conglomerates again. Mm-hmm. So I mean, what do you guys think about that? And chat, chime in as when you have something to say, obviously. So
I think that's the world we live in here in the U.S., right? Where it's all around capitalism. You find very few brewers that start up and stay with their initial value of I'm in this to brew great beer. I think you always kind of keep that, but when one of these big breweries comes around and says we'll buy it for X amount of dollars, why not sell to them? Wait the period of time where you can't compete, and then start up another brewery.
Yeah.
End of the day. I guess I'm oversimplifying it, but That's my thought process through it all.
That's true though. We were talking last week about Kona Brewing Company in Hawaii on the Big Island, and when they're still a small brewery and they still only do their kegs right there at the brewery on the Big Island, but they still have to hire out to get bottles done, and they hire out to a lot of the big brew houses in like Vermont and Oregon, et cetera, that cover the country, and they literally have their recipes farmed out to those guys. They get the brews done there, and the bottles actually get shipped back to Hawaii. So the only fresh Kona stuff that you get is in a keg on the Big Island. Everything else is out of bottles that are brewed in the mainland and then shipped back over again, which is kind of odd. But there's a lot of those houses that will, they'll take your recipe and just essentially replicate your beer, but not necessarily with the original care that the primary brewer first, made that recipe from. They're just looking to do mass production, and that's, I think, where you slip away from the craft and you become a little bit more mainstream. Some of the flavors are still pretty good, but they're just not. They don't have that original, that original care that was involved in that recipe.
Well, yeah, it's kind of odd having Kona Kona beer being shipped back to them.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until you brought it up. And I remember when I was in Hawaii, I ended up picking up some the longboard ale and the stuff that's in the bottles. They're mass produced pieces, mm-hmm. and I didn't know. I mean, I was happy just to have it because it was Kona. And I was like, great, fantastic. I get to have real Kona beer right here in Hawaii. Lo and behold, I failed. So,
yep.
But yeah, I did not know, Jordan, that Ballast Point sold off. I have a friend who actually works for Buddy. He works for our friend Buddy. He works for Ballast Point. Mm-hmm. So they specifically kept their line of liquors as part of the deal. Huh.
I did not know they had a line of liquor.
Yeah, a lot of breweries are starting to do that. I mean, Rogue has a line. I think Rogue has a line of liquors.
I saw that
Dogfish.
Rogue specifically does a whiskey that's aged in their beer barrel. At any rate, they definitely Rogue has, I believe it's a Rogue IPA whiskey, which is interesting. Yeah. So another thing to try if you're a whiskey fan, with a beer lover at heart, but also indulge in the whiskey side of things. Look for the Rogue whiskey.
Nice.
Oh, I wonder if we can get some of that. I'm not a big hard alcohol fan, but sold to Corona and Modelo for $1 billion. Whoa, that's insane. That's a lot of money for these guys.
At the end of the day, invest in liquor companies. It says the economy drops, everybody goes to alcohol.
Everybody drops. Well, yeah, that's the one thing. Invest in alcohol. Yeah, that's the way to go. Monica, if you're still there, can you permit Matt a link to do a link, please? And also, if you get a chance, can you give a SO command for Thigh Toaster? Rogue spiced hazelnut rum. I don't recommend.
All right. I guess not all of them are winners.
They can't all be bullseyes.
Well, I mean, think about the other breweries that sold off as well. They what is it? Goose Island. Again, but sometimes they sell off or give like the majority, I guess, investment of their a majority investment in their brewery so that they gain access to like the distributing piece. And I think Steve, you brought that up with Kona. They want to get their beer out to places, so they send the recipes out there, but you didn't bring down to PAC East. I did find something else to bring you down. Flying Finn, you are the man. I'm really excited about that and meeting you guys. So at PAX. But yeah, like some other breweries, like again, Goose Island, Kona, Ballast Point now. I mean, can you guys think of any other ones that have recently sold off to these bigger breweries?
I know specifically it was a while ago, but one of our local microbreweries here in Jersey, uh, River Horse, they used to make um, one of their winter beers was um, trying to remember what the name was before Anheuser-Busch bought the recipe, but I believe it was Belgian Frostbite was the original name of it.
Mm.
Um,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it was such a common or such a loved beer that Anheuser-Busch actually came in and bought the name, and they let River Horse keep the recipe. And River
Okay.
Horse basically said, "Well, we'll just change it," and it became River Horse. I believe now it's Frostbite.
Yeah, it is. It is frostbite. That's
Belgian
the one.
Freeze. So it went between Belgian Frostbite and Belgian Freeze, but one of the big breweries came in, bought the name, but said, "You can keep the recipe. We just want the name." That's
Huh. I wonder why this is not going. I'm trying to get the command here. Let me give me a second here, guys. I'm just gonna get to that Matt can Kona and Red Hook are sellouts. Magic Hat a long time ago. Again, another permit.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
you got to watch because a lot of times these bigger brewers buy out these smaller, and it's not always we're going to take over your 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 name. They basically sit there and say the brewers, you can continue to brew, we just want to cut of your profits. So you got to kind of look at what's happening there. But on the other side of it, I'm sure they're the big entity there, and they may influence smaller brewer if they allow them to operate in ways that the original owners weren't intending to bring that line.
right.
So there you go, Matt. Sorry I took so long. I couldn't remember my own bloody commands. Why? I permitted you. Oh well, I'll figure it out. Hey, Matt, I'll post it for you. Let's see if I can get it for you. So this is a Ballast Point Spirit, apparently. So link for Ballast Point Spirits. Kind of cool. If anybody wants to check it out. Pabst owns Colt 45. A sad, sad day. Billy D. Williams is probably like, oh man, my beer, my malt beverage. It's a sad, sad day there. I didn't know Red Hook sold out. I haven't drank Red Hook beer in such a long time, but it's I do remember having it. I think in Jamaica, not Jamaica, in Puerto Rico, which wasn't bad.
While it's a sad day that Pabst owns Colt 45, I believe they also own Valentine. And Valentine has actually done a bit of a resurgence lately and started to reintroduce a lot of their older recipes. While they may not be the exact recipes, they brought a new brewmaster in that in cases where there was a popular beer a while ago, they have tried to recreate those beers where they may not have the recipe. So they came out recently with the Valentine IPA, which have actually been pretty good. I've tried a few of them. So a lot of the older names that have kind of grown out of favor lately are trying to make a comeback with the IPA phase and the true new micro craft brewing scene.
Mm-hmm.
Right Sphere. I never heard of that brewery. Narragansett. Have you guys heard of that? Have you seen what he's posting there?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Huh. What do they do, Regisphere? I'm not really too sure what if I've ever had any of their beers before. Yeah, I mean it's Jeremy, who owns Chamonix Creek, he used to work for there in Rhode Island. Okay, I don't know if I've ever had their beer. But Jeremy, who works in Chamonix Creek, who does this beer here, the cream ale, he actually used to work for River Horse and he came up with one of their recipes, and then they did something. Maybe it was around the same time that Budweiser bought that name, and he said, "Ah, screw you, I'm done with this." And then here, I'm gonna post this for everybody so that oops, so you guys can check this out. So I guess that's the website for the brewery that Ratchetsphere's talking about. There you go, another beer for me. Can we think of any other breweries that may have been bought out? I haven't really thought of I haven't really heard a few, but I think again, my theory is that history is going to kind of repeat itself eventually. We're going to get so many breweries in the market that that larger breweries, or even not necessarily the not the mass produced ones. I mean, they're the ones been buying up beer, breweries recently, but could you see breweries like, I guess Boston Beer Company is already doing it, right? They bought out several who does. Hey, Darkhead Brewery, how are you? They bought out Angry Orchard, right? That's one of their ciders.
Better not screw up Angry Orchard.
What's up?
So they better not screw up Angry Orchard. They make an awesome apple ginger cider.
Yeah, they do. I do like that one. But could you see other breweries kind of getting together to battle out this whole mega brewery buyout of the distribution? Like, could you see a conglomerate of like Rogue and Stone and, I don't know, Green Flash coming together and just saying, all right, we're all one big happy family. We'll bring other small breweries underneath our umbrella. Is that something you guys think could be a possibility in the future, though?
How do you maintain the delicate craft and still have the brand and buying power of a larger umbrella to live under? I think good brewers will probably simply go find another place to make a really great recipe as opposed to trying to stick with that. I think a really good master brewer isn't going to care about the business side of things. They're going to care more about the craft and the recipe. And if they feel like they're not really in control, I think they'll go find another place to brew.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And that's probably healthy.
Those are the ones staying true to, brew what you love.
Right.
That's true. And I think that's one of the reasons why, I like home brewing, because as we find something that we really enjoy doing, like our milk stout, which we haven't done in over a year, Scott, with the coffee in it. Yep. That's one of those things. We brewed. We took a milk stout recipe, and what we ended up doing was, after it was done fermenting, we put it into a secondary, and then just inconceivable. Jordan, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. We took like about a quarter cup, because it was 5 gallons. We took a quarter cup of just whole coffee beans and stuck it in there after it was done fermenting, and I wouldn't say dry hopped it with coffee beans, but it's kind of what it is, I guess. And then two weeks later, we took it and bottled it, and I still have some in my basement, and it's got a really fresh coffee flavor to it, which is nice.
I have one left from 2 years ago.
Do you really? I think I may have one left somewhere in my basement. I'm gonna have to. Maybe one day we should just do like homebrew. We'll break out. But not necessarily. I'd have to send some over to you, Steve. Bring some to Isaac's for you.
Yeah, I definitely need to get in on that. I remember tasting. I think I remember tasting the coffee milk stout though when you had that. I think you brought that in, and I tasted. That was delicious. Well done stuff.
Yeah, it was. It turned out to be a session ale. It was like, what was it, like 4.5, Scotty, or something like that.
It was low. Yeah, it was definitely lower.
It wasn't intentional though, like that percentage. I think
I actually may have it written somewhere. I'll go check.
Okay. He's gonna go check that real fast. But that was a good beer. I definitely would love to do a session. Now, Rajesh, he actually does, who's in here. So if you guys haven't checked him out, I'm just going to put up a command real fast here. Rajesh, he actually does home brewing every 2 weeks. Go check him out. But what I would love to do eventually is get maybe the three of us, Steve, or even a bunch more people, and just kind of go out and on one of our patios. Scott has a really great place we can brew too, and I think his Wi-Fi actually extends outside, so that might be a good spot. But we sit down and brew 1 or 2 beers. I think that would be kind of fun to do. But
yeah, it was about 4.8%, so it was right under 5.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't know why that was. I'm just going to repost that because I kind of screwed that up for Regisphere. I'm not sure why it was, but I think originally it was supposed to be like 5.5, but something in my basement or somewhere. I don't have the cooling chamber, the chilling chamber you have, Scotty. So it's you have all that cool technology. I need to go build one myself. So I saw something. Go ahead, Steve. Were you gonna say something?
Nope.
Oh. So I saw something about what's it, the chef. One chef that was saying that I can't remember, Anthony Bertone was saying that craft beer has just become unbearable to him recently. It's not the styles or anything like that, but the people. Well, go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say that going to beer fest is very difficult nowadays, just because of the clientele, the following that it's created for. Yeah, I can pay $40 and drink all I want for 3 hours. In terms of that, I would agree, just with the people around that you have to deal with. But I don't necessarily agree with that from the standpoint of all of these new craft brewers standing up. There's so many new flavors and twists on beer that they're doing. It's really opening up the world of beer making, which I think is awesome. I mean, that's one reason I love Carton Brewing and in the Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, because they are constantly amazing me with random twists that they're throwing into the beers they make. They're not kind of following your standard. We're creating these 5 common styles and that's it. They're constantly doing new small batches and seeing how the market responds. Just keeping it open and allowing for them to do what they want. And again, going back to what Steve said, it's the brewmasters just doing what they love.
That just here brought up a good point. Try working at a brewery, then going to a brew fest and have drunk people tell you how much they love and hate your beer all day long.
Yeah.
But you have these people who are going to try these beers and then they start taking like notes on it, and it's like, I think that was his big thing was man, he went to a brewery to get a beer because he wanted a damn beer, just to sit down and have a pint, and there were a gaggle of people just sitting there with like a pad, like a notebook with all these little samplers there, and just kind of like writing down their notes and sipping it, and I guess how has it gone to the point where craft beer is more of a hipster thing, and is that something we should be concerned about as beer drinkers, running into these people who are just drinking beer, because it's a style or it's kind of a fad that they like? compared to the rest of us who, drink a style. And I don't think I've ever taken a note on a beer, and I hardly remember to use my fucking Untapped, to take notes on the beers I like. But yeah, it's
It's
frustrating.
I don't know. I've never taken notes on a beer, but I have been at breweries where I've seen people come in with notebooks and get the sampler and take notes, or who knows what they're writing about for each of the beers. But in terms of it being a hipster thing, I say all the power to them. Us as beer lovers, we want as many people to be buying beer as possible, and the more people we can get focused on these smaller microbreweries, it just allows them to create and expand the love of beer, which I think is an awesome thing. And I'm fine with these hipsters going to brew fests. Do what you want, as long as I can go to a brewery and fill a growler, I'll be happy.
And it's good for me too. They can wear all the pretzel necklaces they want.
Yeah.
Hey, I gone to Star Trek conventions in my day, so a Brewfest, you're gonna see a lot of humanity. Not gonna hurt you too much, I guess, to hang out and mingle with them for a while. Admitted that.
there's always one girl that's like passed out on like the stoop of somewhere, or she can't sit down anymore, or
arguing with her boyfriend, or
yeah, they're always angry at each other. Because we work a lot of Brewfests, so it's like we at least work 2 a year, which is fun.
It is fun.
Both one in Newtown and one in Washington Crossing, both in Pennsylvania area. If you got anybody's out around this way during those period of time, look those up. But there used to be a Chili Fest Beer Fest combination we used to go to, Scott. It was in New Hope, Pennsylvania. That I actually really liked. I like that because you can go to a Chili Fest and you can sample the chili, and then like one brewery was just serving you full pints of beer, which actually where I got this bloody thing here. My I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah. So it's a full pint glass.
Oh,
and you
God.
stick it around here. And the whole pint, I don't have a pint glass. I don't know if this thing will fit. But that's the whole idea. And just kind of, it won't fit. This is full. So, and it's kind of hanging out there. And I can eat my chili. I can sit there and scoop it in my mouth, and have the pint glass around here, which is awesome. So, it really should make one for like the Brewfest with little small ones. I've been trying to convince Ann to make one. I'd be able to retire now if she had done that.
So good.
The girlfriend hates beer, but the boyfriend's double fisting and is trash. That's my favorite. Yeah. Those are always good too.
I've seen that happen. Never ends well.
No, definitely never ends well.
Security is escorting them out the gates.
What is that? Hold on a sec. Chib Beer and Rib Fest. Chili. Okay, I was about to say, I don't know what a Chig Bib, whatever that was, but Chili Beer and Rib Fest. Now,
That I can't say I've ever been to.
no. Flying Finn, where can we go to that one? Is that up in up where you are in Canada, or? Yes, I was looking for you, Monica, and you were gone. I was sad. Monica mods like every room of people that we know, so she's everywhere. Yeah, we need to make one. Oh, okay.
Ribs are difficult. Ribs are difficult.
We could do barbecue and beer fest.
Yeah.
Well, we used to host a beer a chili fest at our house, and we haven't done it the last few years. But blame the sickness. FC360, what's up, man? You unlurk. How are you doing? Yeah, so we used to host a chili fest at our house, but you haven't done it actually since we adopted our son Owen. And yeah, that was a fun time. I always loved having we would have every couple bring a crock of chili and beer, and then we'd have a way to do voting and stuff like that, and then end the night we'd tally up all the stuff, and both Scott and Steve have been to it, so
yeah, a lot of fun.
It is fun. That's really good too.
Oh, you're planning on smoking ribs next brew day on stream. Ooh,
oh boy.
Well, you're not that far. I could drive up there and eat some ribs. Yeah. I'll come help you out. Actually, Scott, you would love to watch Rochester. He actually has chickens, ducks, and turkeys he raised. So
really,
yeah, listening to you guys makes you want to try beer, even though I don't think I like the taste of any beer I've tried.
All the good flavors out there.
Yeah, FC360. I could definitely find a beer that you would love. I've convinced people to drink beer when they never had a beer before. A lot of times women don't like beer, and you come in with like a sour or a lambic style, and that's like I don't want to say gateway beer, but they're not expecting that, or like an imperial stout that has chocolate in it and they like it. But yeah, fruit lambic will change you.
Likely.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting style. Oh yeah, and Scott, he also has beehives. So
this is sounding more and more like me.
Let's see. I did make a great squirrel muskrat Oh, what?
Muskrat chili.
Finn, I don't really know what to say about that. I don't know if I would eat squirrel and muskrat chili, but
I would. Absolutely, I would.
You would?
Yeah. There's really only one animal in this world I won't eat, and that's a possum.
Possum? Why a possum?
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to eat a possum.
Bad childhood incident.
Maybe.
Something repressed.
So wait, you're saying you would eat a skunk then?
Yeah, if it was cooked correctly, yeah. And as long as they got rid of the scent gland.
Let's hope.
So you would eat a possum? No, you would eat a skunk before you ate a possum.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know how I would. Again, the scent gland would be the biggest concern of mine, right? I think that itself.
And again, this is not just from some backyard person killing it and boiling it. This would be at someone that put some time and consideration into it, which I'm sure that Flying Finn did with his squirrel and muskrat chili.
Finn says, "Prep it properly; you'll never tell what it is." All right. Random fact: have the most teeth out of opossums. Have most teeth out of any animal. All right, any mammal. All right, that's disturbing. My dog was out in the backyard one day, and he decided to. You're welcome. he I saw him tossing something in the air, and it turned out it was a possum. And man, I saw that thing, and I was just like, oh, it's got to be dead. And I was gonna go and deal with it, but it's instead my wife, she was like, don't deal with it, just leave it there, it's probably not dead. And the next morning I went out, but he was literally throwing like a rag doll in the air. It was like flopping up and down and doing all sorts of stuff. So it was interesting. So his son is trappers, and we know about dealing with critters. Mm-hmm. All right.
You know what the thing is with possums, is, as far as I understand, their objective in life is to clean up dead animals.
Ooh.
So you know, they're just eating dead filth. Where at least a skunk is eating vegetation, and I don't know if they eat meat or if they're just vegetarian, but they um, at least they're eating live things, where possum is eating dead things. So that's where I kind of draw the line.
I don't
Nature's recyclers.
recyclers.
There you go.
Just recycler.
I mean, not that there isn't a purpose for them. If there wasn't a purpose, they wouldn't be alive. But
Right. Yeah.
I never sat well with me.
It's kind of like a filter feeder, right? You wouldn't want to eat skunks are omnivores. Ah, there you go.
There you go.
So they don't eat the flesh of their own kind. So the possums are the zombies of the animal world. They just eat their own kind, and
Yeah.
there you go.
They clean up after themselves.
Oh wait, no. Opossums, raccoons, and skunks will eat dead animals. They also eat berries, plants, but they are scavengers. And they get in the chicken coop once in a while.
I don't know. I know we've had issues here with raccoons. They'll come in and terrorize the chicken coop and basically leave all the dead behind. So, as far as I know, at least the raccoons around me don't eat dead.
So, Dark Hair Beauty, I do think that critter on top of Trump's head probably is the elusive golden the possum.
And it is dead.
That damn thing just kind of just flops in the wind. But it is what it is. I don't want to go into any more politics. Yesterday was enough. So.
Indeed.
Hence the reason why I reviewed Damnation today, because why not? So, yeah.
So Scott, did you think of the story that you were trying to think of that inspired? Was it you to try the beer that you reviewed tonight?
Oh, it wasn't a story. It was just a saying he had as to what it made me think of. And it was something around how it was like tasting jazz and feeling feelings, which absolutely threw me for a loop when he first said it.
Wow. That's deep.
But as I thought about it more, I was like, you know what? This is a beer that I really need to try. And then when I bought it, I realized the connection with jazz. I didn't really understand what he meant by feeling feelings. He may have had, with it being such a high alcohol, sitting at 9%, he may have had a few, and he got to the point where he was feeling feelings. But his description of kind of the feeling and surroundings of when he had it really made me say, I got to try this beer.
Cool. That's very profound. Yeah.
When you look at the kind of the imagery on the front, you have I don't know if you can see that, but you have Brother Thelonious, right?
Sunglasses and all.
In monk garb, with a chalice glass and kind of an illumination of keys around his head.
Yeah.
So it's a really good picture.
That's pretty
good artwork for the beer.
Monica, let's get drunk. I think we're kind of on our way. Well, I'm getting there. It'll be a good night's sleep tonight. I'll be happy about that. Yeah, that beer is awesome. I'm gonna have to try that. I can't remember, Scott, if I've ever drank that beer before. I'm just kind of looking at on the screen over here. So for everybody who joined late, Scott had reviewed Brother Thelonious, which is a Belgian style Abbey ale. That is I guess they partnered with the Thelonious Monk Institute of Jazz to support jazz education. I'm just reading it off the site real fast. But yeah, it's no, I can see it. I mean, it's one of those things where It's one of the reasons why I started this up. I said this last week, and I probably said it the first week too. I started this up so we can try new beers we haven't tried before, and also so we just can hang out and just have a few beers, because some of us just don't get out that often. Not as often as we used to.
Children do that.
Kids will do that. And what I really need to do is get that. Scott and Stevie would love this. I actually, I don't know if I can import it in here. Monica has seen it, and I think some of the other guys in here, Ty Toaster and FC360 have seen it, and Finn has seen it. But there, I have a picture of Owen, and he just has his mouth open, and it has it was for when he woke up. It has like flames and lightning coming out of his eyes, So, it was like the wake up icon that could just pop up on the screen every once in a while when he woke up when it was the middle of the stream. But that was back when I was streaming video games on another account. But I need to get one of him. It's him pointing, and I can actually put a beer glass in his hand and like impose a beer glass in his hand. And he has Yoda ears on his. It'll be good. I'm gonna work on that for one of the streams. I can just kind of plop that up there. Why not? So.
Nice.
Oh man. Well, I mean,
we were talking about breweries too, so I'll go back to mine. For those of you that weren't around, the one that I chose is Jovial from Trogs Brewing. Trog Brothers. In Hershey, PA, which is where their brewery is now. They used to be in Harrisburg, and they moved into really, really cool digs in the Hershey Park, Hershey Town area, where all the famous Hershey chocolate is made, and really spectacular brewing outfit that they built. Custom building from the ground up. They've got an awesome snack bar there. They call it a snack bar. It's like Food Network class snacks. Really, really good food. You can sit there and have any of the current draft beers that are there. The bottling's going on. You can do a walking self tour, or you can take the brewer's tour that departs every hour or so, walks around the brewery. It's really, really nice spot. So and I'd consider them to be local. Hershey's only about not quite 2 hours away from where I live, so I get out that way every once in a while. Good. Jovial is a good Belgian double, and there's very little of it left, but it's got a little bit of sediment at the bottom there. All the goodness is sunk to the bottom of the glass. So here's Trogs. Even got my shirt on today.
Man, you're just all sorts of supporting Trogs. You have
Well,
the glass, have the beer,
they have a
have
good
the
shop,
shirt.
as it turns out. And I bought stuff. Beer and stuff.
Oh,
So,
man.
I recommend these guys. Good, they make good beer there. So, cheers.
Well, this is I normally like having stuff go to like at least an hour and a half. So I guess we're getting kind of to the end. And plus, I'll be honest, guys, I was a little less prepared with topics today because of whatever happened yesterday, with the thing that happened yesterday. So I do apologize for that. It is what it is. I think a lot of people were shocked and stunned. Even around work today, it was a little bit gloomy. Everybody was walking around, but yeah, it's interesting. And so I
apologize. That's because you live in Pennsylvania, but now you work in Jersey. Hillary won Jersey.
Well, yeah, I guess it's just yeah, is it wrong that I went around and told people I didn't vote for Trump? I'll just put it out there. I'm less politics. I know, Monica, but is it wrong that I went around and was telling people that I actually wrote in the Queen of England because I think we need a good monarchy?
Oh.
I just kept telling people that. I just wanted to mess with them. But now after I did it, I was just like, and then when he won, I was like, it's not really that funny anymore, is it? I was just I wonder if they really thought I wrote in the Queen of England. But yeah, all right. So I guess it's probably a good time to stop. Guys, we're here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. It's and again, next week I'll be a hell of a lot more prepared. But like I said, every week we brew, we review beers with all the reviewers that are involved. So we have, generally three to four reviewers, including myself. And then we talk about beer related topics. But what I'll do is, hold on, let me just put this real fast. I got another link. Come on. There we go. Doesn't apply to beer. Begging? Yes, I saw that. This is why, that's true. This is where I got the idea. Because I saw someone that there's an article, Americans are begging the Queen to take back the country. As they were saying, it was a really good 250 year or whatever it was, however long we've been in existence, experiment, and that we should come back to the monarchy. But yeah. But like I said, guys, if you're interested in beer, follow the if you haven't already, follow the actual channel. I also have several things down below as far as Twitter, Untapped if you want to drink socially with me. Like I said, I'm horrible at keeping up with this damn thing. It's an app that's on your phone and on the computer. You can actually log any beer that's there, any beer that you're having. But other than that, we have a few things planned for it and for the channel. I also want to start doing some giveaways too. I've been thinking about this. I've acquired over the years a ton of beer paraphernalia, so I got to figure out what's the best way to do this beer paraphernalia giveaway. Glasses and like shirts and stuff that I promise I haven't worn the shirts that I'm giving away. That'd be kind of weird. Anyway, all right, it's late. What can we do? Regardless of the fact, guys, check out the Instagram, check out the Twitter, follow us on Untapped if you get a chance. Real fast, let's look and go see if we can find someone who we can give a good old host to. All right, let's see here.
You were documenting somewhere the beers that we've reviewed, right?
Yeah, I am. I totally forgot to update the list, but there is a list underneath the. If you go to the under the Suds area there, you can check out every beer that we've reviewed, and last week is not up there. I got to put it up there again. I was slacking, and then
there it is. Yeah,
there you go. So you can check that out, and then. I'm going to update that with a link to the breweries as well. So just so that people can actually go and check out what's going on there. We're going to do hosting Kittens Are Soft.
All right.
Yeah, she is actually another chef. She's a chef that's on here. She does apparently she's making New England clam chowder. So let's go give her a host real quick. Thank you guys for hanging out. And we will see you guys next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And thank you again, Scott and Steve. Link? What link? I don't know, Monica. You're going to have to hit me up. I don't know what you're talking about.
For Kittens Are Soft.
Oh, for Kittens Are Soft. Oh, yeah. So let's do a raid real fast if you guys can. Raid Kittens Are Soft. She's a really nice young lady. I've stopped in her channel a few times. Go tell her I said hello. Give her a follow. She does some really cool cooking. And she actually does some social eating, which I don't really understand myself yet, but that's kind of what they do. So have a grand night, you guys, and we will talk to you soon.
Cheers.
See you guys.
See ya.